Hello and welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith and this is the next video in our series, which I am not going to mention the title of just yet, even though the name that I've already put up for the video probably gives it away. But we've made a final decision, so I'm sure if you've seen the title and already clicked on it, then you know what we're doing next. But we're going to talk about something else that was actually caught just prior to that in part 1 of the mercenary upkeep video, which was done about 2 videos ago. And it was an individual named Richard who actually pointed it out to us. When we had gone ahead and finished up our upkeep on our scoundrel and our mine thief, we'd actually gone ahead and given the scoundrel 18 gold worth of during the conversion, and then the mine thief had actually gotten well, a Peasley little 6 because of the 2 coins he got. Now what we noticed actually was when we were playing monsters, we were always playing monsters with a level of 2. Now when they're a level of 2, the scenario level we were actually playing was 1, and I read that wrong. I was looking at this thinking that we were here, and I just read it wrong correctly when I was doing it quickly. And so what actually happens here is that we actually get 2 gold for each and not 3, which drops the gold down for each character at the end of the scenario. So in order to be accurate and fair and not make sure that we actually don't earn anything we didn't actually work towards, we got to take away 6 from this guy because it would end up with only 12, being that he had 6 coins at the end of the scenario. So he loses that value worth of money, which is too bad. And then if we head over here to the mine thief's in the same bucket. Instead of 6, we'll only gain 4. Not a terrible drop for him. Actually, it's probably worse off for the scoundrel. But regardless, we want to be accurate with that stuff. So that stuff's been taken care of now, and at least we can kind of move forward knowing that that's correct. So that's good. So I do want to thank Richard for pointing that out. Now, first off, before I let you guys know where we decided to go, even though it's not much of a surprise, seeing as I've already labeled the video as the next scenario we're going to be playing. But I do want to thank everybody for putting in their feedback in the YouTube comments and letting me know where they actually wanted to play, because I really do think it's cool that as a group, all of us can sit down, play this together, and I can throw and bounce things off you guys. You guys are able to give me feedback. I think it's great. So I want to thank you for throwing in your votes, everyone that did. And we have actually chosen, based on the group, I believe it was a 3-to-1 vote count. And if you don't include my own vote, which I'm not going to tell you what it wasn't counted in that. But we actually chose to do a road event by leaving the Black Barrel. And instead of just running to the linked location, a lot of us wanted to kind of run off over here to the Well of the Unfortunate. Now, a part of you might wonder why you'd want to do a side quest called the Well of the Unfortunate. Well, I think there are some people out to see me get killed, possibly, because it doesn't sound very pleasant. But we're going to do our best to try to get through this. I think it's kind of cool, and I do agree with some people that made comments saying that they enjoy going on the side quests and kind of breaking away from the campaign and exploring. I kind of like that mentality, so we're going to give it a shot. Now, the one thing that we have to do if we're going to go down that road is before we actually leave the Black Barrel and head over to the Well of Unfortunate, you have to do a road event. And so we're going to go ahead and do a road event now, okay? So let's go ahead and pull one here. So, road event. You are far off the main road when you see a small band of Inox approaching from the west. You try to divert your path to go around them, but they are moving directly into your path. In a few minutes' time, they overtake you. You've wandered into our territory, travelers, the biggest one says. We don't much like visitors. You stare at her blankly. Such acts can be forgiven, but it will cost you. Oh, wow, okay. So our option A is to try to reason with them, or reason with the Inox, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or to fight them off. They'll get no payments from you. So we got somebody who's bullying us on the streets as we try to travel to the Well of the Unfortunate, and it looks like they're trying to basically take some money from us. So the question really becomes, do we want to let them bully us or not? Shoot, this is a tough decision. I think trying to reason with him might make the most sense instead of being aggressive. So let's go that route, because last time we did something aggressive by eating the berries, it didn't really turn out so well for us. So we're going to go with option A and see what happens. Option A, the Inex in your party talks with the leader for a while and they are able to come to an agreement. They punch each other's chests and the group lets you through. No effect. Oh shoot, did I? Oh, wait a minute. Am I doing this correctly? I don't have it. I'm not using that character. Sorry guys, I'm just checking this here really quick. You're far up, so it says you're far up the main road when you see. Oh, so we would have had to have known to have the right. Okay, so basically because we don't have the brute, and I don't know what the electric symbol is for, but we don't have one of those two characters, we actually have the scoundrel, which is that symbol, and we have the mind thief, which is the brain. So that kind of limits things. So we have to do the otherwise from what I'm understanding. That's really harsh. Otherwise, the Inex don't seem to be budging on this payment issue, so you are forced to pass along a handful of coins. The big one smiles and lets you continue on your way. Wow, we lose 5 gold each. That's terrible. Oh, that's too bad we don't have someone capable of talking to them. So we might have chosen the wrong thing there. I just assumed that we would be able to maybe pick somebody that could actually do some speaking. The other thing you'll notice there is that it has the return to the bottom of the pile kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and stick that road event on the bottom. Wow, that wasn't good, was it? So out of the Mind Thief's coins, he literally loses every single coin that he had from the previous scenario, guys. So this is the kind of punishment, I guess, we get for going on another road event. Road events seem to be vicious. They haven't really been playing into our favor lately. Now, the Scoundrel has a lot more money to lose, so by losing 5, not completely useless in terms of money. But now, you know, we lost a big chunk of what we tried to earn so hard in that last scenario, so that's really too bad. So essentially, we have now taken the trek, sadly, from the Black Barrel. I guess we've gone kind of cross-country over here into the Well of the Unfortunate. And we've arrived at the Well of the Unfortunate. And this essentially is the setup. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this. This is one of the further back in tiles of that particular location. And here we are kind of popping our head into the Well of the Unfortunate. So you can see the both of us are here. It looks like we have a couple forest imps to the left and right of us. Likely not friendly. We've got a couple what looks to be I think those are a Vermling Shaman and a Vermling Scout. So the Shaman is in the middle, and then we have 2 elite Scouts kind of on the outskirts, which is never really a good thing. But we're gonna have to see how it goes. So anyway, we made it. I mean, we lost some money on the way, but now we're at a well, so maybe something good will come of this. Now, from this point on, I do want to mention, and I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but it will be in the description, that this is spoiler territory, 100%. We're going into game content that is outside of the very first scenario. So again, warning, spoilers. So back away now if you do not want to hear any more. We're going to talk about the Well of the Unfortunate, okay? So the requirements here are none, so we don't need to do anything. Now our goal is going to be to bring the doll to the well, which I'm likely it's going to make more sense when we read the introduction. We'll go ahead and do that now. So it says, introduction, you have found some writings which document the existence of an old well in the plains northwest of Gloomhaven. According to a legend, if you drop something of value into the well, it will grant you any wish. Intrigued, you go in search of it. A short distance from the well's supposed location, you run across a finely dressed, middle-aged man crouched down and weeping into his hands. There is no hope left. My daughter is dying, and no medic can help her. No matter what money I throw at him, I went searching for anything that could possibly save her, and my last hope was to throw this doll of hers down the well and wish for a miracle. The man sobs violently and then continues, but the whole shrine is overrun by vermlings. There's no way to get down the well, or to get to the well. She's doomed. You sigh and grab the doll. For a price, you'll get the doll to the well. And I can tell you right now, after being robbed on the way to this event, there's nothing more that sounds better than us getting a few more coins. So this particular scenario has some special rules. It says at the beginning of the scenario, choose one character to hold the doll, signified by placing a treasure tile on the character's mat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in a second. The doll can be passed to another character, but only if the other character performs a loot action, targeting the hex occupied by the character holding the doll. So you're going to have to use a loot card essentially from your hand. That would be something, you know, like we've seen before in previous videos, kind of like at the bottom there, loot 1. And that's how you can kind of steal the doll away from your character. And of course, I'm assuming if a character says here, if a character holding the doll becomes exhausted, place the treasure tile on the hex they occupied. The scenario is complete when the doll is brought to a hex adjacent to the well. So we just have to get inside of this building. We don't really know where. We know, like, this is essentially the layout of the map. So we know that the well is going to be in here. It's likely in that back room, but who knows? I'm not going to share that information with anybody here. So, but it's in there somewhere. And then it says here, door 1 is locked and opens. Door 1 is locked and opens when any character occupies the pressure plate at the end of their turn. So there's essentially a pressure plate somewhere, but I do know door number 1 is this. So in other words, door number 1 is locked, and when the game actually has specified text for locked doors in the campaign section of the rulebook, and it states when there are locked doors, it means you need to find some type of plate, or there's some type of scenario-driven effect that you need to do in order to open that door. So we know there's no point in killing these guys and trying to waste movement going through the door. We're not going to make it through. It's locked. So the only other option that's available to us is this door here, which it was kind of hard to understand when I was setting it up, but apparently this is a door, and it's just kind of like a smoked over, kind of looks like smoke and stuff like this. And then once we open this by landing on it, it'll reveal a bunch of new things in here, which I have no idea what that is going to be yet, but I've been trying to avoid gazing at it with my own eyes so we can kind of be in for a surprise. What we do know is in front of us is these forest imps, the shaman, and the scouts, which are kind of lurking around here. So we're going to have some action right off the top. We've obviously got some obstacles. So you can see here I got some trees. In the actual rulebook itself, you actually use bush tokens for these, but I decided to build them as trees because it just looks, kind of gives a little bit of extra flavor to the tile, and I think it looks kind of cool. So essentially we are here, and the other thing that I didn't forget to do, but a lot of people thought I forgot to do in the very first Black Barrel scenario, is pick battle cards before we go into battle. So let's do that now. So what we're going to do before we even get into this scenario, which will be shortly after this, essentially we have a deck of battle cards. Now this would have happened in the prior episode, or the prior episodes in the Black Barrel at the very beginning. I had hid this from you guys, and I didn't do this in front of you because I didn't want you to, not necessarily because you didn't understand it or couldn't understand it, but it just adds another objective to the mission that I thought wasn't worth us all focusing on as the primary goal. I thought the primary goal for us, at least in the first mission, was to at least just win and just survive. Once we get past that and we get a taste for the game and we're all kind of squared away, then we can try to like do our best to go after objectives. So, and we ended up actually passing a couple that I'd hidden away. So anyway, here we go. So what you do is you're drawing cards, but you're drawing 2 for each character. So this is going to be the Mind Thief side, this is going to be the Scoundrel side, and you're just drawing 2. Once you get those 2, you can flip them over, look at them, and take a look and decide as to which one you'd prefer to do. So what do we get for the Mind Thief? So we got Indignant, which says loot no money, tokens, or treasure overlay tiles during the scenario. So in other words, if you do nothing to gain any gold whatsoever, a lot of check marks are coming your way. Now, if we remember back from, and just so you guys are aware as well, the gold notes I haven't, sorry, this is the party sheet. The gold notes I erased, I will be adding the correct gold notes that we changed at the beginning of this video in these sheets off screen, just so you don't, panicking, but the XP was valid. So let me think here. So in terms of the check marks, in the last one, the only person who got a check mark was the Scoundrel. So the Mind Thief is the one who pulled this one. So it's going to be kind of rough for him because he's going to have to go ahead and not loot any money or any treasure when we've already been robbed, and that's something that wouldn't be bad to get. The Sadist says kill 5 or more monsters during the scenario. Now that's a lot more obtainable, and we still get a check mark for it. And I'm thinking that that's the most logical decision, because I think this is almost something we can guarantee do. Whereas with this one, we can guarantee do it, but then we come out with like literally nothing for money. And I think because we got robbed, we just have to avoid the indignant one. Indignant. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I keep looking at that weird. Anyway, regardless. So I think this is the one we're going to go with. If we hadn't have gotten robbed, guys, I totally would have gone with this one. 100%. But in this case, let's go for what makes the most sense and what's going to gain us not only some XP, but also some... so we're going to put that up there essentially with the personal quest. And we also know, even though the Mind Thief has completed one of his personal quests, and the second one will be this one once it's done. Now we're going to head over and do the Human Scoundrel. So the Human Scoundrel's got 2 cards. So let's flip these over. Well, these look a little bit more involved. So we got ourselves Executioner and Dynamo. So Executioner says kill an undamaged monster with a single attack during the scenario. So in other words, just flat out wipe somebody out. That to me seems actually fairly easy. We should be able to get that by maybe just losing a card from our hand and using its most powerful ability. So maybe that's a good choice. And then the Dynamo. So kill a monster during the scenario by causing at least 4 more points of damage to it than is necessary. Okay, and now, you know what? Just because we are at the 16-minute mark through this video, I think it makes the most sense to actually go back to you guys and do what we did at the end of the last video, which is I want to get some feedback on what you guys think I should do. I know I made kind of a recommendation there on the first one, but I do really want your guys' opinion on this kind of stuff, because maybe you have a different take as to what we could do. So this is essentially, if you want to go ahead and pause the screen, these are essentially the 2 options that we have in front of us. And the ones on the left are for the Mind Thief. So that would be these 2, if you can't see them because of the focusing. And then this one here for these 2 for the Scoundrel. We have to pick one. So I want you guys in the comments below to actually put in which of the 2 you think for each one that we should select. I know I've already given you kind of a recommendation on the first one. Haven't said anything about the second. And then once we get those in place, then we're going to go ahead and jump into this very first, we're going to jump into this unfortunate well that I have no idea what the heck to expect in this place. All I know is if there's a whole bunch of enemies outside the door, there's got to be more of them inside. It's probably going to be a loot frenzied game, and I'm going to try my best to try to gather as much loot to make up for all the money we lost on that road event, which was absolutely brutal. But regardless, still having lots of fun, still enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Again, if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, please subscribe. And the next video will be us diving into the well. Until the next episode, people, thanks for watching and keep rolling solo.